The infamous iMac G4, probably one of the most uniquely designed desktop computers ever. And to be honest with you, this was not one of my favorite designs by Apple. But now since I've got one sitting right in front of me, I've actually grown to like it. So here's the backstory behind the iMac G4 and why I have this sitting here. A good friend of mine who does house renovations during the spring and summer, ended up finding this at a house he was redoing, and you know, he wasn't sure if it worked. It didn't have the power cord to it. He just found it, and he called me up and said, "Hey, you know, I don't know if you want this thing. I mean, you know, you're the only one I know who would want it." So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, bring it over." And so we brought it over and we powered it up, and she turned on. So I have this iMac G4 here, sitting here, that I got for $0 and 0 cents US money. And so you can tell how pleased I was by this. And you know, I don't normally collect desktop computers because they take up a lot of room, but for the iMac G4 I made a special exception, and it doesn't really take up a whole lot of room, so I made the special exception for it. Now the iMac G4, the backstory behind the iMac G4, especially for some of you youngins who might be watching this, or if you straddle upon this video across the internet, the iMac G4 was Apple's first flat panel iMac. You can see here that the entire screen is very thin. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the original G3 iMac, which was commonly known as the bubble iMac, Apple made the idea of putting the computer behind the screen, building it all in one. They kind of made it famous. And so one of the biggest requests people had about the iMac was, could you find a way to put a flat panel screen in iMac? Well, Apple researched this, and they found the best way of doing it at the time. This was around 2002. The best way of doing it was to do it this way, by build the base of the computer, the whole computer in this spherical base, and put the screen on a rotating arm that can either be lowered, raised, and be turned 180 degrees. This was by far one of the most uniquely designed computers ever, and as I told you, this was not one of my favorite designs. This is often called the Luxo lamp iMac because it looks like a lamp, doesn't it? But, you know, it was not one of my favorite designs until I actually got one and I stare at it every day. You know, I've actually grown to actually appreciate its design and to actually like it. So the whole base of the whole computer is built into this base, and the screen swivels on this rotating neck here. So this was obviously the age before eyesight, so we do not have a built-in webcam. This is a 1 gigahertz iMac, which I believe dates from around 2003. We'll look up the specs in a minute using EveryMac, which is one of my favorite resources. So the computer came just as you see it with just the computer. I do not have the matching Apple keyboard and Pro mouse that would go to this. I'm just using a standard old Dell keyboard and this compact mouse here. And I also did not get a set of the Harman Kardon speakers. Now, one of the things that Apple made with this is they made this a complete system. Apple partnered with Harman Kardon to come up with a pair of really nice speakers that would go to this. And so I do plan on getting the Pro keyboard and the Pro mouse that would go with this machine. And also, if I can find a pair of those Harman Kardon speakers, and if I can find them relatively inexpensively, I will pick up a pair of those to make this a complete system. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, where's all the ports? Well, the ports of the machine are along the back here. And I just have to move a couple of things out of my way. And I know I'm going to get comments. Yes, I know I should use a tripod. No, I don't care. So please don't make that comment, because I know I should use a tripod, but I don't really care. So I'm just going to So don't even waste your time commenting that. All right, so on the back here we have the Kensington security lock, so you can actually lock this to your desk if you wanted to. We have a VGA video out port. We have 3 USB 2.0 ports here. I believe they're 2.0. I don't believe they're 1.1. I think they're 2.0. We have dual FireWire 400 ports right here. We have the power cord. You can see I'm just using a generico power cord. The original power cord would be white. We have a dial-up modem right here, 10100 Ethernet, and we have audio in and out ports, and we also have the power button in this very inaccessible location right here on the back. Apple has this obsession of putting power buttons and things where you can't get to them, and honestly, I'm going to rant for a second. This is one of my biggest pet peeves I have with Apple, is the fact that, yes, they make their computers look nice, but they do it by putting things out of sight where you can't get to them. Like, for example, why are all the USB ports in the back? I would like a USB port on the front. Apple says no. Why is the headphone jack back here? It should be in the front. Apple says no. That has been my biggest complaint I have had with the iMac literally since Apple updated the G3 iMac and took away the dual headphone jacks in the front, which I think was in the revision C iMac, I think it was. It was either the B or C to the G3 iMac. Apple took away the dual headphone jacks. And I just don't understand that. That is one piece of Apple logic I do not understand. Why? I just don't understand that. I don't. But at least it has a headphone jack other than my phone here, which I have to use an adapter to use headphones with. So, Apple. Good old Apple. Anyway, so there's my rant for the day. And we also have a CDRW DVD drive right here. This is the what I call the mouth, but it's the tray right here. The tray comes out of the front. So the display on this is the standard 15-inch LCD TFT display. And what was very interesting is when Apple launched this iMac, it was more expensive than the G3 iMac. And the reason for that was because LCD display technology was relatively new in around 2002, 2003. And so Apple needed to charge more for it. So the problem began about schools and about schools and education. That's why Apple launched the iMac, which I don't have, which I don't want because it is big, heavy, and takes up a lot of room, and I don't have enough room to store it. But Apple launched the iMac, which later went into the product line later, I think just a couple months after they launched it. But anyway, this machine is in overall nice condition. I did wipe it all down. See, there's a scuff mark right here, which I can't remove. I'm probably going to see if I can take a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to that and see if I can take that off. I don't have any here, but isopropyl alcohol and a microfiber cloth cleaned this up very well. I actually haven't taken the base off, which I'll show you here in a second here. The base is metal, and people have been able to take these off, you know, on the iMacs that have died. People have taken these off and done some cool things with them. So this is how you access the machine, by taking off these screws here, and you have access to the full internals of the machine. People have also turned the iMac G4s into lamps. Coincidentally, the G4 iMac is often called the Luxo lamp, and people have been able to turn them into lamps. When they die, they take the case and they part it all out and they build lamps out of them. I've seen a couple of those online, so who knows? When this iMac dies, maybe I'll build a lamp out of it. Who knows? But let's go ahead and power it on. And we're not going to hear the startup chime because I don't have speakers connected. The G4 iMac does not have internal speakers, so that is why you needed to have the Harman Kardon speakers if you were to buy this brand new. Hello. There it goes. And this machine will need a new hard drive. I have noticed that the hard drive will sometimes not cooperate, so it will need a new hard drive put in. When I got this machine, it had a load of OS 10.3 Panther, but I have upgraded it to 10.4 Tiger, and of course the clock battery is dead, so it's not going to set, so it doesn't have the correct time. But let's go ahead. I believe this is a 1 gigahertz model. And yes, we're running 10.4.11. It is a 1 gigahertz PowerPC G4. And we're still stuck with 256 megabytes of RAM. This uses DDR, standard DDR RAM, not DDR2, but standard DDR. And this machine is capable of running Leopard 10.5, but obviously I don't have enough RAM in it to run it very well. For Leopard, you really should have 1 gig of RAM. I know the minimum requirement is 512, but you really should have 1 gig of RAM to run Leopard, and I think the iMac G4, we'll look at the specs here in a minute, but I believe the iMac G4 takes a maximum of 1 or 2 gigs of RAM here. So anyway, I've loaded this machine up with just some software for now. I'm not doing a whole lot with it because, again, I do have to put a new hard drive in it. But it's relatively quick, though. But I did put iLife and a couple of things in it. We're going to browse the web, just for giggles, on this machine. There is no airport card installed. This machine does accept airport for wireless. I don't recall if it takes the standard airport card, 802.11b, or if it takes the Airport Extreme. If it takes the Airport Extreme, I can get it on my wireless network. If it's the original 802.11b, I won't be able to put it on wireless anyway because the original 802.11b airport cards do not support the WPA2 encryption. So as I mentioned, this machine does have a CDRW DVD combo drive, which is right there. And this, I believe the G4 iMac could be custom ordered with a super drive, so you could burn CDs and DVDs as well. This is just the combo drive. So it'll play CDs and DVDs, and it will burn CDs as well. Comes right out of there. And if you had the Apple keyboard, it would be the F12 key. But on this one, you can see F12 brings up dashboard here. But on the original Apple keyboard, there would be a key right about where the F12 key would be for eject, but I just have it in the menu right there, and you can see, whoop, there it is, and then goodbye. There it is. So that's pretty much all there is to say on the G4 iMac. Let's go ahead and look up the specs here and see what model of machine this is. I've actually not really looked up the specs here, but I can look up the serial number and get the specs from EveryMac. Okay, so according to everymac.com here, we have a 1 gigahertz 15-inch USB 2.0 model here. And this is what it would have originally came from the factory. There's me. Hello. My MacBook Pro has a lot of glare because the anti-reflective coating on my MacBook Pro came off, so that's why there's a lot of glare, but let's see if I can compensate for that a little bit. So it might be a little hard to see here. But anyway, this particular model was launched in September 8th of 2003. It was discontinued July 1st, 2004. We obviously have one processor, one core. 1 gigahertz, PowerPC 7455, that's the G4. 167 megahertz is the system bus. This machine has 333 megahertz DDR standard RAM. This machine originally has 256, so the RAM has never been upgraded on this machine. It supports a maximum of 2 gigabytes. And the graphics is a GeForce 4MX. So natively, it only supports mirroring on the external displays, but there's a little utility called Screen Spanning Doctor that will basically enable that for you. I believe it still exists. This machine, that's weird. It has a 7200 RPM hard drive. I didn't know Apple shipped those. I didn't know that. 80 gig is our hard disk combo drive. Yada yada yada. This machine would have originally sold for $12.99, brand new. So that is from everymac.com. So this machine, I believe, would have been the bottom of the line in the iMac range, but all in all, this machine really is in nice condition for its age. And what we're going to do here is we're going to have a little bit of fun. And just to round out the video, we're going to try browsing the web on this G4 machine. Now, I am not fortunate enough to have Ethernet jacks on every single wall of my house. So what we are going to have to do is we are going to have to tether an Ethernet connection from my MacBook to the iMac, and because I have a Retina MacBook Pro, I have to use a dongle for my Ethernet because Apple decided Ethernet must die. So I have to use a dongle for this. This is just a standard USB one. I do not have the Apple FireWire, the Apple Thunderbolt one, and I'm not paying Apple $30 for it either. So what we gotta do is we have to go into System Preferences, and I've showed this before in one of my previous videos. We're gonna do Internet sharing, so we're gonna go into Sharing, and we gotta go to Internet Sharing, and we wanna share our connection from Wi-Fi to that, because that's our USB Ethernet, and we're gonna click on, whoop, 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 there you are. And we're going to click on that, and we're going to click on Start. So now we should be sharing our internet connection to the iMac, and we're going to verify that very quickly here. So we're going to go into System Preferences here, and we're going to click on Network. There we go. Sunday, December 13th, 2020, the year that never ends. Okay, so web browsing on a PowerPC system, I'm sure most of you know by now, is difficult and really not even worth the hassle. But we're going to do it just for giggles because I am bored and I've got nothing else to do on this Saturday night. So, on this Sunday night, I'm a day behind myself. I don't even know what day it is. I don't know. I'm 26 years old. Sometimes I wonder about that. Sometimes I think I'm older. I don't know what day it is. Where am I? I don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, so we're going to use a browser called 10.4 Fox. 10.4 Fox might be the best option for the PowerPC. Now again, this also does have 256 megabytes of RAM, so it is not going to run very well. But we'll do it just because, why not? This will take a while. Go and get yourself some Tim Hortons or Starbucks. Okay, so I haven't updated this version of 10.4 Fox in a while, so this might be a little bit of an out-of-date version, maybe by 1 or 2 releases. But anyway, we're just going to see if we can load Apple's website here. And again, I've mentioned this in previous videos as well. The one thing that is really killing off older Macs, not just PowerPC machines, the older Intel machines, is the lack of web browser support. And it's just so sad, but hey, the Apple website comes up pretty well. We see the main ad here, which is Apple for the holidays. Something that ticked a lot of people off. Charlie Brown Christmas only on Apple TV. And Apple's overly expensive AirPods over-the-ear headphones. Don't understand why it is $500 and some. Typical Apple. But that website loads pretty well. Let's try... Now, I don't recall if I had logged in on Facebook on this machine or not. I may or may not have. Okay, so it looks like at least this version of 10.4 Fox, this might be a little bit out of date. I'm not sure. I have not updated this browser in a while. I've had this machine for a couple months. So there might be a new version that's out there, but it looks like we get the mobile version of 10.4 Fox here. And I would probably assume Twitter would be the same way here. Whoops. Spell it right. Might help. I assume we'll probably get the same thing here. Again, it's very tough to browse on a PowerPC system just because of the lack of web browser support. And now, fortunately, we don't have to worry about Flash anymore. That's the good thing. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But YouTube doesn't perform very well at all on these machines. So listen to that hard drive just working away. Okay, so it looks like the Twitter website does load properly, the desktop version here. You get the idea. Again, you know, it's really just not worth web browsing on a PowerPC system. It's just a lot of exercise and whatnot. So, but anyway, that's the video on the iMac G4. I really don't have anything else to say other than if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from the Techies World, hit that subscribe button down below. And actually, I will turn the camera so you can see my ugly mug. Hello. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from the Techies World, hit the subscribe button down below. Also hit the bell icon to be notified when new uploads are uploaded, when new videos are uploaded. Also, you can also follow me on Twitch. I'm KotaPlaya, KotaPlaya. And I have not started a stream, but I do plan on doing that someday as well. And also, I will say, if I'll give it out freely, you can also add me on Xbox Live as well. I am KotaPlaya on Xbox Live as well. So I'm now started in the gaming community. Hello, people. I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll learn together. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Have a good holiday. Have a good Christmas. And have a good new year, and here's to a better 2021. Thanks for watching.